players that are better than you. And paying off so far for Mateo, but let's take a look at their decks. Simon deck, of course, very familiar at this point. We watched him draft it this morning, and it has a very solid direction. And Rakdos aggro worked out beautifully. Curve is there, powerful rares, removal. It is all available for Simon here, and so far we have just watched him make easy work of his opponents. This deck is absolutely fantastic. Now, Mateo's deck, on the other hand, well, let's see if Simon read the table right, because Mateo was passing to him on his right, and Simon started off the draft with a red card, a blue card, and a green card, and then said, I'm going to go red-black, and he nailed it. Mateo is blue-green, so Simon ditched both of those colors, and this deck is nice. Really headlined by 2 copies of Oblivious Bookworm, the Signpost Uncommon, and possibly the best Signpost Uncommon in the format. This card is absolutely fantastic, and being able to curve it into one of 3 copies of Cursed Windbreaker cards we saw going around the table can be really nice. For me, I think this deck is absolutely excellent. If I had to make one qualm, I think a little bit short on sources of Manifest Dread. We do see 2 copies of the Survivor there in the 3-drop slot, but in order to get that through and survive, you're going to need a Windbreaker on it most of the time, and that's just asking a bit too much. I think this deck is very strong, but Simon's deck is just blisteringly fast, and I think it might just bury this deck.
Is Simon going to get the 3-0 here, Monty?
I think we are starting off with the Simon Nielsen trophy.
Unbelievable. Well, let's find out what happens here for the pod. I'm going to pass it on over to Marshall and Paul.
Thank you, Maria. Welcome back to the booth here at the Magic Gathering World Championship. Marshall Sutcliffe with Paul Cheon, and we're heading into round 3 of Booster Draft. It's Duskmorn, and it's been a good morning so far. Really great stuff from the feature match area. We've got more to bring you. Again, Simon Nielsen with his very aggressive red-black deck, and on the other side, Mateo Ferreira. And we had to do a chandelier check here, Paul, just to make sure that Mateo doesn't fly a little too close to the sun. There is a lot of Manifest Dread in this list, and it can kind of add up, right? When it's like, well, I need to play a creature. Okay, but you're kind of going through a bunch of cards, right? Like 2 cards are disappearing every time. I'd have my eye on it. Let's just say that. I doubt that that'll actually happen, but this is a sweet value deck. The real headliner for me is the 2 copies of Oblivious Bookworm.
Yeah, double Oblivious Bookworm into triple Cursed Windbreaker is just a really, really nice combination. Also with triple Cursed Windbreaker, double Defiant Survivor is in his deck as well, and that's a really nice combination as well. That's one way to get your survival creatures actually through.
This is robbery for Mateo. He has a forest, an island, 2 bookworms in his deck, and none in his hand.
Yeah, and no 2-drops at all. The one interesting card I see is Enter the Enigma. This is a type of card that you don't see too often, but I guess I understand why Mateo's playing it because of the double Defiant Survivor, double Rootwise Survivor that's in his deck, probably trying to find an additional way to push through damage and trigger that survival.
That might have been one of the reasons that the card ended up in the set. It doesn't see much play. There's Cryptid Inspector, though. He's got 3 of those, and they are very well built around. This is like one of the best Cryptid Inspector builds you'll see, and a really nice turn 3 play here facing down the 2/2 Undead Sprinter from Simon Nielsen. It did get in for 2 last turn, but could be a little stop sign here if he doesn't have an answer for it.
Yeah, Simon's got a couple of options here. You can just play a Needlehead, which I think I like just because you do have Trial of Agony next turn. So just kind of wait for Mateo to play something. And it also has kind of that 1-2 punch of Trial of Agony. If let's say Mateo plays something huge, you go Trial of Agony, trigger on the stack, or ability on the stack, then Scorching Dragonfire, the smaller creature. Then with Trial of Agony, with no other thing in play, you can kill a 4/4 or a 5/5 because there's no other targets for the damage.
Ideally here, Mateo would start getting some Manifest Dread going and get that Cryptid Inspector.
Yeah, I think it's a really good opportunity to play a Cursed Windbreaker here. I think he's looking at the Defiant Survivor plus Enter the Enigma combo. But at the same time, turning the Inspector into 3/4 is so big because that allows you to play around Scorching Dragonfire, which Simon has 1 copy of, I think, in the deck.
There's a Cursed Windbreaker and a trigger from the Inspector. Did he attack? No.
Yeah, the Simon just has a clear double block here, so I don't think he wants to make that exchange. Especially if one of the creatures that dies is an undead sprinter.
Yeah. Yeah, that Inspector, that could get much, much bigger from here. So Mateo would prefer to keep that potential on the table. And it looks like Simon's going to step away from the table for a minute.
Well, given his hand,
that's hilarious.
We know the question.
He has Trial of Agony and Scorching Dragonfire, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, that has to be the question, right? This is something that, if you played a bunch, you've run across this combination, Trial of Agony into Scorching Dragonfire. So what Simon can do here is Trial of Agony to 2 creatures. Obviously, if he just did that, Mateo just chooses the 2/2 to have die, then your Dragonfire can't kill anything. So what you do is Trial of Agony on the stack, Dragonfire the Manifest token, Trial of Agony would get the Inspector off the battlefield, boom, attack for 4.
No other choice. Looks like they're doing a little bit of reading there. This is typical for, you're allowed to ask judges for rules clarifications. They obviously can't comment on any type of strategic choices, so you have to be very specific about how you ask. But
right.
Okay.
But there's actually, I think, a better line here.
What do you
think
see?
about it? So what you can do here instead is just cast Trial of Agony. Something dies, right? Or no, you start with, oh yeah, you can go Trial of Agony, and then if you Final Vengeance away the Sprinter, can you still recast the Sprinter if it dies afterwards?
Yeah, why not?
And then you can just replay it in attack.
Yeah, he's got a swamp, right? Yeah, another swamp in hand.
But both are good options, of course.
Those are both good options. Yeah, I'll see. I'm curious to see what line Simon actually ends up taking here. He would have clarified, we're assuming,
right,
that the Trial of Agony Scorching Dragonfire thing works.
We will call the head judge right now. Please wait a minute, okay?
It looks like they're still getting a clarification.
We're
on that,
waiting on
potentially.
the head judge to come to table A now.
Yeah, and with Mateo,
I think
kind of missed land number 4. The deck is a little bit mana hungry, so really wants to try to fire off that Enter the Enigma as just to try to hit more land drops here. Yeah, that Sprinter. That's the thing with the Sprinter, though. Every time you just keep looking, you're like, oh, 2/2, I get it back, and then you just play with the card. You're like, no. This card just does so much more than
It
that.
does.
Anytime there's combat, this thing will always come back as a 3/3. We saw Simon take full advantage of this in the last match, where it didn't look like he could beat that dissection tools, but just every turn, trade. All right, I get to play these 2 again. And he had 2 of them, just like 2 3/3s every turn. At some point, your opponent's just going to run out of action.
It looks like Simon once again has stepped away. What happened was he asked the judge a question, and it looks like the judge was consulting with another judge to get the proper answer.
Yeah, it's a really cool interaction. It's not super intuitive, right? Because the spell's on the stack, and then you're casting a removal spell.
Okay, so he is going for the Trial of Agony, though he's going to let it resolve.
Right, and then, but the other creature can't block, right? So you can also have that as an option. And then, of course, like I mentioned before, with the creature dying, you can go Final Vengeance on the Sprinter to get the Inspector off the battlefield and then replay it, I believe.
Then I will Final Vengeance across my Sprinter.
Yeah, then he's going to play a Swamp after this and recast it.
What a turn. What a turn.
Huge swing here for Simon Nielsen. This is exactly how he drew it up. Removal spells. I mean, he used up all 4 mana,
Oh, yes, I see. Okay, sure.
and he got rid of both creatures on the other side, plus upgraded one of his creatures in the process. Yikes.
And he's got the Dragonfire for the follow-up creature here. So that's another attack for 5. And then, of course, the Needlehead's also getting in for 1 extra point of damage.
Chip. Yep, it adds up quickly. And no real board here for Mateo. Let's see what he finds.
I wonder.
Defiant Survivor. That is a good target for a Scorching Dragonfire.
Absolutely. I suppose you could just attack with both. It doesn't actually matter. I mean, Mateo can't block.
Yeah, first strike, sure.
Right? If you trade with the Sprinter, you just recast the Sprinter because the Survivor dies. That's the power of the Survivor, though. The Sprinter, you just can't really block it for trades.
Yeah, I guess there's.
I don't think Survivor. I don't think Survivors
kill it.
Right.
Yeah, like does he want it gone?
Yeah, it depends on whether or not Simon has a follow-up play here. But I imagine you want to kill this. Every time I don't kill the Survivor, I always regret it. So.
Exactly. It's like a Planeswalker. Like, just attack it.
Face
Don't.
gallery.
Oh, jeez.
Jeez.
So 7?
So now it's 7 down to 4, and then another one down to 3.
Down to 3, so then that's 2 lethal attackers next turn.
Right. Or he could just sit here. I mean, his opponent's playing blue-green. There's not a lot of answers for the Needlehead.
Yeah, you have Unable to Scream and Monstrous Emergence as kind of the 2 big ones.
And that's going to be game number 1 going to Simon Nielsen. He was able to take that one critical turn and ride the wave. I mean, that was 2 turns ago, and the game never came back.
I do think it's kind of funny that Simon asked the judge about a play, but then didn't make the play. He's
yes.
Like, actually, while we were doing this, I saw a better line.
Good to know for future reference there for Simon. Oh, is that 4 cards in the opening hand here for Nielsen?
Oh, man.
I'll tell you, Paul, you know, his low mana curve does allow him to operate on 1 or 2 lands, but you just not have enough gas.
Or,
yeah.
How many times have you ever won on a Mull to 4? 5% of the time?
Oh, less. I would think
Something.
less, yeah. It's very rare.
Yeah,
Maybe 5%.
Right,
Yeah.
and Mateo's on the play, kept 7, and his hand's totally fine.
Yeah.
So,
Fear not. Or maybe it is fear. I don't know. Fear of lost teeth here for Simon Nielsen to start things off.
I mean, this is an aggressive, oh, it looks like he drew a 2-drop here. Okay.
Hand that feeds is the, so he just went 1-drop, 2-drop.
1-drop, 2-drop.
Assuming Mateo does absolutely nothing.
Maybe a removal spot. I think I saw a Deface Gallery, so you can just play that and attack with both.
He's got
You know?
Scorching
Okay.
Fire. Yeah, it looks like it was Ticket Booth in hand there, as well as the Needlehead.
Can he get it
Come
done?
on, no way. Like, this is all fine and dandy, but in a couple of turns, we'll see a mana and card advantage start to play itself out for Mateo, and it'd be very impressive if Simon Nielsen can find a victory.
Right. So
On the draw on 4.
Mateo's got a million 3-drops in his deck. Can't really double spell here, so probably looking to fully utilize his mana. Make a 3/3, and then if you draw land number 5 next turn, then you can go 3-drop plus the Wary Watchdog.
Let's see what Simon finds.
Yeah, at the very least, Simon can go Deface Gallery, attack with both, and that'll at least mean one of the creatures will trade. But given that Simon's at 4, Mateo just always makes the trade, right? It's just like trade everything. Oh, excuse me, that's a Ticket Booth.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so without a land, although he did find one, it means he can cast either spell.
He can cast either spell. Now, I'm trying to think about the types of creatures that you can manifest here that might be better than playing the Needlehead. Of course, you're just using 3 mana, but that's less relevant when you're mulliganed down to 4, right? You don't need to be as mana efficient because there's nothing else to cast out of your hand. Is this Needlehead going to go all the way?
Acquired, yeah. See you in 15 turns.
Mateo drew land number 5, so this is going to be really, really hard here for Simon. He's just going to add too much to the battlefield, I think.
These type of games, if you can actually pick them up, are monumental.
So unless you're going to play the Cursed Windbreaker, I would probably Wary Watchdog here first just to kind of see. Oh, but I guess if the play is to play the Inspector, then that's fine too. I was thinking maybe if you try to surveil a land to the top, you can run out the Survivor, then you play Cursed Windbreaker, give the Survivor wings, attack, and then manifest. What just...
He flipped up a bookworm.
Oh, okay, that never. That's better than playing the
Is
Watchdog.
that better?
I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, why isn't there a Watchdog in play?
He wanted to get some cards flowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one.
It is Simon's job now to try to maximize his possibility of winning, but we could be talking about going from 2% to 3 or something like that.
Great draw here there from Simon.
Oh, very nice.
So now you just attack with everything. Oh, holding the hand that feeds back, trying to get Delirium here. First, wait, why would?
That's first strike.
Why would you block? Whoa.
Maybe he didn't remember it was Sporogenic.
It's a rare. I guess you don't see it that often. Sporogenic.
Wow.
Wow, is Simon gonna get this done? No way, right? There's just too many cards here for Mateo.
That was a big misstep, though.
That was huge. Now with the ticket
Even the
booth,
trade would have been like not super great, but
Right.
just giving it up.
because you could have at least blocked the Fear of Lost Teeth.
Yeah, he would have gotten it off the table.
Oof. Okay.
And that's, by the way, why Paul was saying you attack with the hand that feeds there too, because that was another trade that you would theoretically be willing to take.
Right.
Wow, what a turn of events. But is there too much firepower left over for Mateo still? He's down to 12. The Needlehead still on the battlefield.
I mean, if Simon just draws a spell every single turn, I guess he can come back, right? His curve is extremely low. Yeah, he's got a ticket booth. Mateo's still at 12. Simon's really trying to find any way here to try to hit Delirium, so hand that feeds can also start cracking in. I wonder if Simon is considering attacking with Needlehead and hoping for the non-double block. Now, if he can find like an artifact creature, like a percussionist, and put that in the yard.
Oh, yeah.
That would be pretty nice, but it doesn't look like he did. And given that there's also already an enchantment in the graveyard, I imagine the Trial of Agony will go into the yard, because that gives you spell type number 3.
So a hand that feeds is one step away.
One step away, so
much
fear,
bigger threat.
yeah, Fear of Lost Teeth can attack or just stay on defense if you want. Mateo's just going to take the 1 here if this attacks.
Let's not make predictions.
Well, sorry. Do you really want to give Delirium? I guess if you really want to preserve your life total here, I guess you could maybe consider blocking with the Watchdog, just because with the Lost Teeth in play, it's kind of awkward. And then you do get a Surveil here.
Yeah.
If you can find land number 6, you can double spell next turn, so that could be a consideration. But he also still needs to be mindful of the fact that the that will give Simon Delirium for the hand that feeds. And especially with the Needlehead and Mateo not having the answer, even when you're at 12, you just start getting a little bit nervous. Once you start kind of hitting that single digits, you're like, am I ever going to actually find a removal spell? Or am I going to be able to find a way to close out this game before the Needlehead gets me? Definitely not blocking with the Survivor. Okay, I can probably. Yeah,
I'll jump on
You'll
that.
give me that one?
Yeah. It's really interesting. Every bit of damage matters. That it seems like it's small, but like Nielsen's deck has the ability to chip away a lot, like he's doing right here.
Yeah.
Needlehead plus this trigger, it's just ding, ding, ding.
Did he not surveil? He did not surveil.
He did not surveil.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so now you can double spell here at least.
With land number 6 and a handful of 3
Right.
drops.
Has a couple of options. You can actually move the Curse Windbreaker if you want to get in and get in for 3, so you can start attacking while also putting
I think you do that.
threats on the battlefield here.
This is an engine that is very difficult to overwhelm with small creatures.
Now, if Simon can find a removal spell
there's
here,
a window
there's so
here that
much
gets
damage.
Really ugly.
Right, because if you have a removal spell for one of the manifest, the Needlehead can't really get profitably blocked, and the hand that feeds can't get blocked.
I like this from Mateo. You do need to get this rolling, but it does leave this one possibility.
Wow, Mateo milled a Balustrade Worm into the graveyard. Not sure if he's got Delirium just yet, but you can play that out of the graveyard for, I believe, 4 mana, so.
Yeah, GGG. I will remind you that Simon Nielsen is on 4 cards this game. But mulligan 3 times, and somehow we're still here commentating.
Right.
And it's like we're trying to make sure that there isn't some blowout play with a removal spell or something. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, this was the big turn, though. Simon had to draw something this turn.
Yeah.
And failure to do so means, given the fact that Simon doesn't have a removal spell for Survivor plus the Cursed Windbreaker, it's just going to be really tough. Now, Mateo can just maybe double block the hand that feeds, right? Just get that out of the battlefield. I don't want to think about any weird double blocking Delirium thing. Just take 4, because no other block's really great. The only other consideration is blocking the manifest token. You certainly don't want to just chump block. If you're going to do that, might as well just get the hand that feeds off the battlefield. You could also do this, but this puts you down to 4.
And you take a lot of damage here, like right now. It does solve an annoying further
That is true.
long game problem, but at the cost of even more damage at the moment.
Take 6.
You take 6, you're down to 4.
Okay.
Needlehead's finally gone.
And now there's the delirium on the hand that feeds, and then there's also Fear of Lost Teeth. That's an extra point of damage,
It is,
right?
and this is what he's going to cast, and he's going to pass a turn back. It feels like the engine's online for Mateo to really start to pace himself away, but I would be very nervous at 4.
Right. Now we're doing a delirium count here, because I think Mateo drew land number 7. So if he does have, I don't know that he does, but if he did have delirium, he could return the worm and play a 3-mana play this turn.
Yeah.
Doesn't, okay. Could still get it here, potentially.
He's going to play the Cursed Windbreaker.
Is it just lands? Oh no, it looks like land, creature, and sorcery.
So the worm is not ready to come back.
Not yet. Needs an enchantment or an instant.
Okay, well, he can get in with Defiant Survivor, and it looks like he has another one to follow it up.
Right.
Just any material on the board at this point is the name of the game.
And this is a fantastic combo. Another 3, another 2/2 here.
He's a Cryptid Inspector and a Island.
Okay. So probably just going to play another thing here.
Yeah, I think you just
keep playing everything.
keep playing everything.
Oh, it looks like he just wants to flip it up and turn it into a 3/4.
Sure, it does count itself. Feel like with Hand That Feeds, you just want as many bodies as possible, but maybe that's even being a little conservative at this point. Simon has a lot of very low impact draws available to him at this point.
So with this, I guess you can put 2 creatures in front of the Hand That Feeds, 1 creature in front of the 2-power creature. Man, if Simon
want to lose to Inside
yeah,
Out
if Simon top decked an Inside Out
it
or
would be
Violent
GG.
Urge,
Violent Urge at this
would
point
have also
as well.
gotten it, get it done here.
Yeah. That was the downside of the double block on the Needlehead.
Right.
That it puts you in range. It's also the downside of not playing Defiant Survivor.
Ooh, okay, and now Mateo might be turning it around here. Huge board, down to 4 though, but has some evasive creatures here. That just 1/2 punch of the Windbreaker plus the Survivor, very, very strong.
Huge
And
sigh of relief for Mateo to not get attacked there.
absolutely, and really close to returning that Balustrade Worm from the graveyard.
At this point, Mateo should be able to pilot the board state that he has to a victory.
Yeah,
He's definitely at the stage of the game where you should be thinking about, if I were to lose, what does that look like?
right.
And you might even get into 2-card combinations, right? What if Simon draws this and this, that type of thing.
The nice thing about the Survivor though is it's always just a free attack because it always replaces itself.
That part's
right?
easy. Yeah.
That's the free attack. It's can I get in with the other flyer here this turn, right? Do I have enough to put into play and attack with both flyers?
And the Cryptid Inspector is a question as well. Don't need to tap that one. There you go. It's a 3/4 currently, but there are 2 manifests on the board and 7 mana available. So Simon has to respect that. And he's just going to jump block.
Putting him down to 3.
3.
Okay.
And theoretically, as the board sits,
You come to that, you went down
Yeah.
to 4 to 3, okay.
Yeah.
Simon does
You're
gain
going
1
to
life
3,
as
I'm
well.
going to 13.
13, yeah. 13, 3. Okay.
Now,
Trigger.
Tunnel of Hate plus Hand That Feeds is a nice little combination.
that is a
too.
really nice.
You have to double block and you're just going to lose
both
of your creatures.
Most
It does
cases.
trade with it, but it's a 2-for-1. Is that a Vanish from Sight? Okay, that's a Vanish from Sight in the graveyard. So now that's Delirium. And now Mateo can return the Worm from the graveyard.
Okay, but he had to do it post-combat, but that
Right.
should be plenty enough blockers at this point.
Oh, man, if he drew that last
He drew
turn.
Violent Urge this turn.
If he drew that
so
last turn.
close.
Wow. This is off of a mold of 4.
It's just there's 6 blockers.
Yeah, there's just too much.
There's just no way to get through.
Unless Mateo just decides not to block. I just don't see how Simon can get out of this now.
Mateo's definitely going to block. And in this case, it doesn't particularly matter how
It doesn't. It really doesn't. Yeah. I think for Mateo, you just have to think, is that manifest creature some kind of trampler? Do I need to put a bunch of things in front of that?
Right. Undead Sprinter. Or something
yeah,
weird.
exactly. Undead Sprinter plus combat trick. Right. So you might just put a ton of things in front of that creature, right?
Yeah, plus Violent Urge.
Right. There's no spell, I believe, that gives trample. So with the hand defeats, I think all you need to do is just double block it. Like, I'm gonna put this worm and this survivor. Like, I don't know what this is, but.
So it looks like he has blocked accordingly here.
And this will 2 for 2, I suppose. Yep. So the manifest, yeah, everything dies.
Yes, so both yours die.
Both of yours die.
That gets exiled. It doesn't go back into the graveyard.
Yeah, Balustrade Worm's pretty good. It's not that good.
Yeah. It's good enough.
So what kind of damage? Can Mateo just spread this out over this turn and next to finish the job?
Yeah, this is 13 already. If you can find a way to just get that manifest off the battlefield, that could potentially be lethal.
He would force a block, regardless.
Okay.
And he gets to keep the Cryptid Inspector on blocks as well, thanks to Vigilance.
13 damage.
3, 6, 9, 11, 13.
Okay, no blocks.
And Simon Nielsen says they all made it through.
Oh, one of them was a branch snapper. Okay.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They do have to reveal those, by the way, as part of the rules. Oof. And we're going to get a game 3 here.
How many cards this time?
Yeah, that really is the question, isn't it?
Oh, we kept 7.
7 apiece?
Oh, look at this hand here from Simon. It's not the most aggressive hand, but we do have Percussionist into Disturbing Mirth, which is a really nice combination.
That is a nice combo. How is Mateo's hand looking?
Looks like he's going to surveil. Oh, wait. Oh, you can target your opponent's creatures.
Sure. Going to do something on turn 1. Enter the Enigma.
Ooh, another land here for Simon.
He's so 3-drop heavy. Both of the last 2 games,
Yeah.
Mateo has had tons of 3s.
Is it time to just fire this off? His curve is so low, it's like impossible to miss.
Yeah.
Unless you hit a removal spell, that's pretty
I guess I draw the card
unfortunate.
first.
Yeah, I think you need to draw the card first.
Oh, I do, yes.
They're saying that you need to draw the cards first and then
I'm gonna
manifest.
draw this Sprinter, and then draw another card, and then resolve the trigger.
Oh, see, that was way worse for Simon.
way
Because now
worse.
Mateo just doesn't play anything if he does draw a 2-drop. The thing is, he didn't have a 2-drop anyways, but
Right.
it always feels bad when you miss on the Percussionist,
Definitely.
especially with a curve as low as Simon's deck. Simon would really love a Final Vengeance, right? Just some way to throw away that Disturbing Mirth just to get a little extra value, but
Yeah, he's not full on into the sacrifice theme
Right.
for this, but he does have the Disturbing Mirth in a few ways to sack it. And every time we've seen him do it, he's won.
Sprinter?
Simon getting a bit flooded here.
Yep.
Has
Yeah.
3 additional lands in hand
Especially
here. And
for his deck, he's only on 16.
right, just a Sporogenic Infection left in hand here.
Okay, there's a Cryptid Inspector. That does start things off nicely for Mateo, assuming that it were to survive.
Oh, wow. Did draw Final
Vengeance.
I think you just go. You just go for it because the infection is going to kill anything anyways.
Right.
Right. So you can put the infection on one of your others. Oh,
Was
Hit
that
it.
the Needlehead?
that was yes, it was.
He hasn't played a land yet either, so he can just play a mountain.
Right. And then go mountain,
And he's
flip
just
it
gonna
up.
do it right away so
Yeah,
he
of
gets
course.
that trigger. Yeah. Nice.
Great turn. What a draw. Final Vengeance was so big.
Yeah, you were just mentioning that he really wanted a way to sacrifice. he found it.
And now you can put Sporogenic Infection on the Needlehead. If you're just plans to just attack with it anyways, it's got first strike. So the downside is negated because it doesn't really matter.
Right. And he can use that to kill this 3/3 manifest. And it looks like it's going to be a bookworm.
Okay. A dead bookworm.
It will be a dead bookworm. Rootwise Survivor's going to hit the bin. And as you mentioned before, Paul, that means that there's a creature under there under basically all
Yeah,
circumstances.
100% of the time, unless they need delirium or something. Okay,
Whatever.
sure.
A 1 toughness creature is the same thing.
Yeah.
Wow! Jeez!
What?
He found fear of being hunted to add an additional 4 damage right
There's just
now.
nothing, yeah.
You're at 3. This is the problem of playing 1 spell a turn for Mateo. He cannot keep up, and that is going to be Simon Nielsen locking up the pod. Perfect 3-0 start for him for his World Championship run. What else is new?
I mean, Simon just keeps winning, keeps just... The miraculous season just continues. Actually, it's not even a season at this point. It's just 2 years.
Yeah, it's just years of him doing this.
Years of absolute dominance. Even with this draft where it kind of started out a little bit shaky, but Simon just staying the course, making a slightly risky pick there in Pack 2 and having it pay off dividends with an amazing Pack 3 that saved his draft.
Yeah, we'll look back at the Pack 3 specifically. If he makes a great run today in day 1, that'll be the thing that got him there because the 3-0 draft is the perfect start. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be back with more limited action here from the Match of the Gathering World Championship. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to coverage here of the Match of the Gathering World Championship. Marshall Sutcliffe with Paul Cheon. We are in Las Vegas, Nevada. Paul, your hometown now.
It is.
Not where you grew up, but where you live.
Yeah, it was a nice little 15-20 minute drive to get down here.
Not too bad.
I must say it's not. I got a full night's sleep, so I'm ready for the day's action.
That's right, and we've got a little more action to bring you right now in the feature match area. Playing for the pod, game number 3, by the way, we're going to join it. We've got Shuhei Nakamura, the Hall of Famer from Japan, from Canada. Pham on the other side. And matchup-wise, kind of an interesting build here from Shuhei, Paul. We saw some cards in the main deck that you don't always see.
Yeah, so Shuhei Nakamura's playing a Gruul mid-range deck, almost a Gruul control deck. He's got 3 sweepers in the main. So here are the good ones. Waltz of Rage, red green, obviously very, very strong. The Roller Crusher Ride, amazing. Main deck Pyroclasm.
don't see that very often.
You don't see that very often, but it might be pretty good against Pham's list, who's playing a blue-white deck with double the Mindskinners.
Oh, very nice. Well done. And yes, it is good against that. That's awesome. I wonder how the games have ended. You know,
Yeah.
Ha's in the finals here, so
Right.
he's winning one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm very curious how many wins via decking Ha is able to.
That's what I'm curious
get that,
about.
right.
Yeah.
Not too surprising to see the Hall of Famer here sitting at 2-0. Just historically been one of the better limited players
Totally.
ever. Just anytime back in the day when we used to have Grand Prix, he would just be top 8ing almost all of them.
He would top 8 so consistently, even, you know, huge fields, 1,500 players, and it's like, there's Shuhei again. And then once top 8's over, he's at another table drafting again.
Oh yeah,
Like
he loves
every
it.
single
Loves
time.
it.
Yeah. He had Manifest Dread there on turn number 2.
Ooh, that's a free Glimmer
Oh,
token.
Glimmer token's going to get eaten up. This is why Fear of Being Hunted
love that
performs
card.
so well. It does not read well, right? When you
Right.
look at it, you think it's going to trade for some random 2/2.
It's hard
Who
to
cares?
cast.
Yeah, and it's expensive, or it's tricky with the double red. Nope. This
But-
card plays out awesome, and it even has combos that make it better.
But that's the thing. It combos with Most Valuable Slayer, combat tricks. If there's an empty board, it hits them for 4.
It slams hard.
Right? So it's just, it's either
Oh,
a
look at Shuhei, by the way.
yeah,
Seized by Slumber.
Seized
He's
from
going to play
Slumber.
around it. Yep.
so smart. Although, perhaps the next thing to do is if you want to play around a counter spell, maybe you want to run out the 5/3 first, see if that gets countered, then you can attack.
Oh, interesting. I like that play. And by the way,
Right.
Offhand's like, fine, I'll have to play it on something. So the Manifest token, which actually was the Pyroclast,
It was.
is going to get put in the bin. But I mean, that's the situation that Shuhei puts you in by making such a heads-up play like that. Ha realizes, I can't just sit here and not spend this mana. I have to do something with it, and I would have much preferred to take out the bigger threat, but nope, Shuhei's going to play around it. God, that was a nice play.
It was very, very nice.
Okay, Unwilling Vessel for
Not-
Ha is really just hoping to trade,
Right, not at its best here.
and he
just 3/2.
really better hope it gets to trade, because if it dies, it's going to take, what, 9?
Yeah, but Shuhei, I think, has a Glassworks in hand, but looks like he's not going to use it here. Just happy with the trade.
Oh,
Saving
man.
it for something else. Must have another creature to just run out here instead. What is that cool-looking card in his hand? Is that a Roller Crusher?
I didn't see it. Good chance we get to, though.
Yeah.
Interesting turn here for Shuhei as well. He's going to play Overgrown Zealot to continue building out his mana, but I think he has Wary Watchdog in hand and chose to go for a more explosive turn next turn. That's Conductive Machete.
Yeah, it does allow him to double spell next turn. If he doesn't
Mhm.
draw land number 5, you can still go Watchdog into Glassworks to kill Ha's follow-up play here.
Just had to take a little bit of a turn off to do it. Let's see
Right.
what happens, though.
Could also just choose to play it slow, right? If that is, in fact, a Roller Crusher ride, it's really hard for me to tell. But if it is, then I could see Shuhei just kind of playing it slow and just running out the Wary Watchdog, perhaps even sack a land, right? Just try to get maybe a 2-for-1 here off the Roller Crusher ride.
By the way, bad news there for Ha. Surveil to the top. Oftentimes, these green-red decks are looking for a reason to put a card in the yard. So if they keep it, and does he ever have Delirium?
He does have Delirium.
Oh,
so
he's
that-
already got it anyway.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So that Roller Crusher ride is going to hit pretty hard, even when you don't invest that much more mana into it.
He can do it
because
for 3.
Exactly.
Oh, boy.
If you do Roller Crusher ride for 2, it'll deal 4 damage to 2 targets. The question is, can Ha afford to just sit there and try to play around the Roller Crusher ride? It's like Shuhei is able to turn his lands into resources with the
Razorkin.
Razorkin, so
Yeah. Oof, I don't like this position here for Ha.
one note, though, is that the Conductive Machete, when Ha cast it, Gremlin Tamer went into the graveyard. That's got to be one of the best cards in your deck, right?
Wow.
Is that a Mindskinner? I'm trying to think what it could be.
That is a possibility, yeah. Ha has triple blue. Although, if it is, he's doing a really good job of hiding it right now. Plays Glimmer Light. Trying to build up the defensive. 2 cards left in hand here for Pham.
Can move the Glimmer Light, but it doesn't really change kind of the sizing much. So just keeping up 3 mana here instead of equipping. So now Shuhei has also got to be thinking, all right.
Twist Reality.
Yeah, do you have a counter spell here? Fear of Imposters, Twist Reality, what can you have?
Right.
And this is game 3, so Shuhei's seen a large portion of Ha's deck at this point.
It's like Most Valuable Slayer.
Yeah.
Was the draw step there?
That allows you to make a fairly clean attack here. Does he attack with the dog just to play it safe because he doesn't know what's underneath the machete?
Yeah, that's what he's going to do. Fear of being hunted sheds a tear in the graveyard as its best friend, Most Valuable Slayer, hits the board.
Yeah, the thing is, even if that face down card is a Cult Healer or a 3/3, you can even it's a 5/4, so it would still just jump.
Yeah, and Shuhei says, okay, you want to give up a little material here? I will take it. Your move.
It doesn't flip it up. So it's not something you can flip up for 3 mana.
Yeah, what
right?
is that?
I'm thinking it's Mind Skinner, but that's just me.
But he could have kept the mana available to do so.
Yeah, but I wonder if he's waiting to...
Like, was he just representing? Because he could have just tapped the 2 planes for
Right.
Glimmer Light and said, go. It's a little face
So,
up.
so is
but,
he
like,
representing a white spell to that turn? It's really interesting.
It is.
We'll find
it
out
is.
what.
And this
what's
is a
in
game
there.
3, I'll remind you,
Right.
too. And as we saw, Shuhei already playing around removal spells prior. Fear of Immobility is going to hit the battlefield for Ha. That's definitely going to buy some time.
But now Ha's tapped out.
Is it
Now,
Roller Crusher time?
Roller Crusher for 2. Kill both the creatures and then attack for 5.
That sounds like something Shuhei Nakamura would do.
Yeah, Shuei's going to take it here.
Razorkin gets unslumbered, but still tapped. And
There it
it is. All aboard.
By 2.
The Roller Crusher ride.
So yeah,
This is a pod winning play.
right. This is a Roller Crusher ride for 2. So normally it would deal 2 damage to 2 targets, but when you have Delirium, it deals double the damage. It was a Mind Skinner.
It was? Was it really?
It was.
He just wasn't ready to flip it up yet. That's
Yeah.
hilarious because it actually made the toughness less. In the meantime, that's 6 damage coming across.
Yeah, Ha's at
Down
5.
to 5. And the Razorkin's untapping next turn. No board state to speak of.
I'm looking-
Shuhei still got it.
Yeah, does Ha have a split up here in his deck somewhere? It's one of the only cards that'll save him here.
That card traumatized you. And that is the 3-0 pod winning victory there for Shuhei Nakamura. We've seen it so many times in the past, Paul, and he is still going at it. One of the best limited players we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And just even in that one game alone that we saw, we just kind of saw the mastery in play, right? As early as turn 4, where Ha just passed with 3 mana up, and Shuhei's like,
nothing. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
90% of people, they're just attack with both their creatures. You're like, even if they have the removal spell, I'm getting it for damage. You're going to cast your Shuhei's like, no, this card has more value. I know exactly what it is you have. I'm just going to tackle my 2/2, play around it, and then just force you to use it on my worst creature. So just an absolute masterclass from one of the best players ever.
Super impressive stuff from Shuhei Nakamura. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be back over at the news desk getting ready for the next round of action. Don't go anywhere.
yourself in the world of